Secret Wars number 4. Number 4, can you believe it? Let's go. So Doctor Strange is telling the group of the new world. He's telling them all about its creation, the remnants of the old universe, the multiverse, and of course about Doom. Battle World is a place of conflict, and it needs a god with a firm hand. They tell him he sounds crazy, but they know it's the truth. Mr. Fantastic asks him how it happened. He begins to explain how, in the beginning, their brotherhood couldn't understand why the early deaths of everything was happening, and that Reed Richards had suspected that someone or something was behind it. He tells him that he was right. There was someone behind it. No one could stop the Beyonders' plan since it had already been put into motion, but they could stop them being Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom. How? Black Panther asks. He explains that they killed the Beyonders and took their power. Doctor Strange turned away from the omnipotence, but Doom did not. Then he saved what was left to be saved. They learned that most of both universes have been fragmented. Cyclops asks him if the responsibility is to destroy the world that is and remake the one that should be. The young Thor notices his hammer begins to glow, which means they are needed elsewhere. Meanwhile, in the kingdom of Utopolis, the Thors are in the midst of a battle with what appears to be the group of Thanos. Two of them seem to be unfazed in the middle of a force field that the Thors are unable to get through. At Castle Doom, the Thor with a boar's face teleported back from the battle. He tells Doom of the chaos in his kingdoms, but Doom needs to see things for himself and judge with his own eyes. Valeria projects the battle, and he isn't impressed. He comments it's merely mortals fighting mortals, but Sue points out that even her force fields couldn't withstand multiple blows from a Mjolnir, but the ones protecting these beings are holding up just perfectly. But then he points out that Stephen Strange has arrived. They look upon an updated projection and see the survivors of Earth 616 and recognize something is familiar. She sees Reed and tells Victor that something is different about this one. She doesn't know that it's Reed Richards, her husband. She asks him if something has caught his eye. He says yes, but tells her not to fear, that he will return shortly, and then he teleports off to where the battle is. Now Doctor Doom is in the midst of the battle, face to face with Reed Richards, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, and Thanos. He screams out to Reed Richards. They are all surprised at seeing each other on this new world after all they have been through. But Reed isn't surprised that Doom put himself on a throne. But he doesn't waste time to correct him and answer Thanos' taunts by telling him that he is God. A huge explosion engulfs everything, and Doom demands they bow down before him. Cyclops in Phoenix form tells him he doesn't need his mercy just because he is so powerful now, and that things change and evolve. He sends an energy blast at Doom that starts to melt him down and melt his mask from his face. Cyclops' monologue tells Doom that he is a mutant, more than a man, and that he is the future, here in the present, and the planet is his. But just as he uttered the last words of his sentence, Doom reaches up and grabs him around the throat and breaks his neck. At the same time, Doctor Strange blasts everyone else far away from Doctor Doom. Doom asks him where he sent them, and he tells him far away because he knew they wouldn't bow to him and that he knew what would have happened. Doom orders him to bring them back, but Stephen refuses. He tells Doom that he didn't tell Reed that Doom stole his entire world, his wife, and his children. He goes on telling Doom that even with all his powers, he is still scared of him. And with a flick of his wrist, Victor rips Doctor Strange apart and reduces him to a pile of ash, and he never says a word.